This week on the Ear Scouts podcast, we're sharing our must-dos for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights, plus all the latest Disney Parks news and your question of the week. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Hi ho, everybody. This is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you from our very merry makeshift studio here in Celebration, Florida. Welcome to episode 8 of the Ear Scouts podcast, where we gather around the virtual campfire to talk about Disney World and Disney parks around the world. Also here in Celebration is the other half of Ear Scouts, Eric. Hi ho, Eric.
Hi ho, everyone.
As always, Eric will be keeping up with the live chat over on Patreon if you'd like to join us as we record each episode live, including the exclusive Patreon after party. Head on over to patreon.com/earscouts. Also joining us from the great state of Connecticut, which I just learned is famous for their annual Christmas tree made of lobster traps. It's our good friend and the host of Jessica Scraps on YouTube, Jessica. Hi ho, Jessica.
Hi ho, everyone. How are you?
We're great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
So have you ever seen this legendary lobster trap tree? It's apparently in a place called Stonington, which actually looks quite lovely from the pictures I saw.
Stonington is lovely, but yes, we've seen the lobster trap tree. It's kind of funny because the very first year it was just on like a Facebook, like somebody put some lobster traps out and we took a picture. It was really cool, but it caught on really quickly. And now it's a tourist destination. It is, I don't know how high. It's at least like the size of a 2-story building high. You can donate a buoy. Companies donate a buoy, or you can actually donate a buoy that'll be auctioned off. Local artists do. A lot of the money goes to charity. So if you're in the area, I highly recommend. It's beautiful. I'll put a picture in the chat, but it's a great charity for the local area.
Very cool. Sadly, Craig couldn't be with us today. He's traveling this week to see a Christmas tree built out of cheese wheels in Wisconsin, but we hope he'll be back home and able to join us again very soon. In the meantime, let's gather around the virtual campfire to talk about the latest Disney Parks news. Jessica, what do you got to share with us this week?
Well, so finally, we have some news from the Grand Floridian. The biggest and kind of the thing that happened this week is the Perch opened. And the Perch is the new bar that's in the lobby of the Grand Floridian. It is mimicking the bird cage that is on the other side of the lobby. It looks beautiful. It also, one of the things that gets me is they've added USB and plug ports into the bar seating. So they're trying to modernize the seating as they've updated the bar spaces, which I know seems like a little thing, but it's those kinds of touches that I think will keep these usable longer. There is, however, a little bit about the Perch that's not great. It's a very limited menu. So remember when we talked about Oga's and we talked about Beacon Barrel. So the Perch is just 2 cocktails, about 10 wines, and about 6 beers. The wines look amazing. If you're into wine, it looks like they have some really good kind of high-end French and New Zealand Californian wine. The 2 cocktails both have champagne in them or have rum in them. They're good cocktails, but that's it. Just as a reminder, if you're really wanting an open bar at night, go upstairs to the Enchanted Rose.
So I've always heard that whenever I heard the term open bar, that's always meant to me that the drinks are free. Is that not the meaning of open
full
bar?
bar, I should say,
A
if you want
full
a
bar.
full
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah, because I would be awesome if the Grand Floridian was offering an open bar, but
Yes, that would be awesome if they had an open bar. They have a full bar, though, upstairs, I should say. The other piece of news from the Grand Floridian is they've officially announced that the tea room will open in 2026. Didn't give us a firm date in 2026, but the Grand Floridian tea room is opening in 2026. So I never got to experience the tea room. When I had kids and the tea room was open, it was not something they would have been interested in. And then it's been closed since I've kind of been going as an adult. So I'm interested to see if anybody has gone, but I know it's a big draw and a lot of people are super excited. So it's kind of my Grand Floridian news. Did either of you do the tea room?
No, sadly, I've done high tea once, and I'm guessing that's probably the vibe there. Because and I'm assuming the tea room is going to be it's that area where they've been doing kind of like recreation activities lately. Like they'll have like their little like craft classes and things, and there's like all those windows that overlook the lawn. Is that where it's going to be?
That's
you
what
think?
it looks like.
It looks beautiful. I mean, the view there is spectacular. So I would think that that would be a lovely place to go have
I'm sure it'll be amazing. I'm sure
some
it'll be
fancy.
amazing. And if you like a high tea,
Yeah.
just for you.
Well, my bit of news this week is that the monorail is now going the wrong way. If you're used to hopping on the express monorail and venturing through the contemporary resort on your way to the Magic Kingdom, you may now have to wait until your return journey to glide above Sir Mickey's. That's because Disney is testing out a new route for the express monorail that has it going in the opposite direction. And that's so that it's easier to take it off the track in the event that it needs maintenance. So it seems that when the monorail is going in the normal direction, it's more complicated to remove it from service and get it into the shop for repairs. So that means everyone gets stuck on all the monorails and they have to hear the monorail guy say, "We are holding for further traffic clearance," about 27 million times. So while I may miss seeing the five-legged goat in the morning on my way to the Magic Kingdom, I think it's a fair trade-off to not have to get stuck and hear the same thing over and over again. We can wait and do that when we get to It's a Small World. Eric, do you have any news to share with us this week?
The first one is that Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is going to be temporarily closed. It's going under refurbishment and it's going from 3D to 2D. So let's see how that goes.
Well, actually, when this airs, it's going to be reopening in like the day after that. So it's going to be reopening. It's closed right
14th?
now. I think it reopens.
Yes, it's
open on
going
the
to reopen
14th.
on the 14th. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
this should air on the 12th.
12th.
Right?
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it was a little squeaky. So yeah. Okay, that was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Patreon.
Oh, you gotta
I
keep the
think-
small
I
world
think- I
dig in.
think-
You gotta keep that in.
I think Eric just wanted to talk about Ratatouille closing so he could do the squeaky joke.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was the best thing ever.
Okay, and the other news is that the Disney World app now is testing a new feature to help you to easily find merchandise, which is something very cool. Sometimes we struggle a lot on trying to find something specifically, and we go from one park to another. When it launches, I think it's going to be very helpful.
Yeah, so right now I think they're testing it at specific locations. But how many times have you seen a shirt that you're like, "Oh my gosh, I love this shirt," and they don't have your size, and you want to know who has it in your size? That would be a really nice app feature. I think that's great news. Thanks for sharing that, Eric. So, in the last episode, I said we would have another mini cast this week because we are working on getting those videos out for Very Merry and Jollywood Nights. But I really wanted to talk about those parties this week because a lot of people are planning their party nights right now. So, we're going to do a semi full show with a press penny for your thoughts segment so that we can share our must do's for the holiday parties at Walt Disney World. As we're chatting, I hope everyone on Patreon will let us know what their must-dos are over in the live chat, and we'll have Eric share those at the end. Before we start, though, I do want to make sure everyone knows that there is a brand new video all about how to have a practically perfect night at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. There will be one for Jollywood this weekend, and as a special bonus, we created some handy-dandy planning guides for both of those parties that you can download for free over at patreon.com/earscouts. The Very Merry one is up now, and the Jollywood one will be up very soon. Eric, since I think you're about to get inundated over there in the chat with people's must-dos, why don't you start us off with your must-do for the Very Merry Christmas Party?
One of the most-dos during the Christmas party is you definitely have to see Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade at least once on Main Street. while it's snowing. So like there's something magical about like seeing a Snoop while the parade is passing, and I mean you definitely have to experience at least once.
I completely agree. So I used to always watch it from, I like to watch it in front of the castle, but I would watch it from in the hub. So like it was just basically the castle was right behind the parade. And then the first time, I think it was you who was like, you've got to come down and watch it down here. Like this is where you need to watch it from. And I came down and I was like, wow, like it's totally different when you see it with the snow. It really is. So I would agree. At least once, you got to do that for sure. Jessica, I know your heart is in Jollywood, but you also have a lot of love for Very Merry too. What is your must do when you're at the Magic Kingdom's Christmas party?
So I will say, and I think you touched on it last week a little bit in the after party, is it's a lot of sweets, and I don't do a lot of sweets. So for me, the party is really about the other experiences. And one of the best things about the Christmas party is you get characters in some of the amazing outfits. But the key to this party this year is that Mickey and Minnie are once again meeting together in Main Street in their Christmas outfits. And I love, love, love. It's why the safari outfits in Animal Kingdom are one of my favorites. I love getting pictures of the two of them together. So the fact that we can go in and get a picture with Mickey and Minnie in their nice Christmas costumes, and we'll have on our Christmas shirts, and you can do that. That to me is a Christmas card picture opportunity every time. And it's something that you just can't do that often. You Getting the two of them together doesn't happen very often, except for at Animal Kingdom, but at the other parks, most of the time they're separate. So I love the fact that they're together. I love the fact that you can get that picture. And to me, the characters in the parties are something you really need to do. But if you can only do one set of characters, do Mickey and Minnie.
I think that's a great suggestion, especially if you've got a character that is on your must meet list. In your case, Mickey and Minnie together in a special outfit, that's a definite must do because it's really the only time you can do it. One of my favorite things to do when I meet people in the parks is I like to ask them, what was the absolute best thing that you've done since you got here to Walt Disney World? And when I'm at the parties, I always ask, what is the one thing from the party that they're most excited about? So, unless they have a particular character that they love, like you were talking about, Jessica, the answer is usually either the parade, the stage show, or the fireworks. And those are the big ones for everyone at the party. And for me, my must do is that every single time I go, at least once, and usually more than once, I have to see Clarabelle Cow, the diva of dairy, perform All I Want for Christmas is Moo at Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration stage show. She doesn't technically say moo, but I think that was a huge missed opportunity on their part. But even without the low hanging pun there, watching Clarabelle Cow in her sequin covered costume being carried out like Cleopatra by the reindeer, this is as close as you're going to get to a Madonna concert at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And I am here for it every single year. So, Eric, why don't you start us off for Jollywood? What is your must do every year when you're at Jollywood Nights?
To meet like different characters that we have over there. Like there are some very unique ones. They brought Miguel, which I was very excited. And as like Jessica mentioned, like all of them were wearing like their winter outfits, which made them like really unique.
Yeah, I think Jollywood is, while Magic Kingdom has a bunch of characters, I feel like they're even more prominent at Jollywood just because it's a smaller park and you
Mhm.
just feel like there's just so many of them everywhere. And there's so many really rare characters at Jollywood.
Well, the Merry Christmas focuses on the princes, the actual like that's the thing for Merry Christmas is you actually see the princesses with their prince. So the
Hmm.
princes are hugely rare. So if you're a character photo person, getting those princes is a big deal. So a lot of people like that at Merry Christmas. But if you're more like I like the other characters, which is me, I'm not a big princess prince person. I mean, you got Panchito, you got Jose, you got the penguins, you got Duffy. I mean, there's a lot of really cool characters, Eric. You're absolutely right. And Baloo was there, isn't that
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Baloo and
Yeah.
King Louie, but
And King
in their
Louie.
tailspin outfits.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
And
And
were Chippendale Rescue Rangers there again?
yep, Chippendale and their
Yeah.
Rescue
So they
Ranger
just have
outfits.
and just a little pop culture from our household. When I started singing Chippendale Rescue Rangers, John looked at me like I had lost my mind because that is when I determined he had never seen it. Was like last year's Christmas party, which kind of led to an internal discussion at our house. But he had no idea what I was. He's like, "Why are you singing this song to them? They think you're weird." So no, they get it. They get it. Anyway, but I think that's a great one, Eric. The
Yeah.
characters at Jollywood, I think, are really rare characters. But I will say, as far as the rareness, if you're a prince and princess person, that's the rarity that's at the Mickey and Minnie's. But there's not as many good other characters, I think, at Mickey and Minnie's.
One of the other unique things that you should not miss is what's this? Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas sing along, where no one sings along on the show, but like it's amazing. It's fantastic. Just like when Oogie Boogie like shows up on the stage, it's just beautiful. It's really unique, and you cannot find that anywhere else.
You can actually, if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, you can see the whole show of What's This, the Nightmare Before Christmas sing along on our Patreon channel. It's free to watch, and we got the whole thing there. But I'm curious from folks in the Patreon chat, has anyone been to a show of What's This where people sang along? Like anyone? I've I've seen the show now probably at least 5 times, and not once has anyone. I mean, it's not even one of those like there's a couple people awkwardly trying to sing and no one's like joining them. Like no one sings along at that show. But it's okay because it's an amazing show, even without people singing along. But I do think it's weird that Disney hasn't moved away from the sing along aspect since no one actually sings along. But
So I was not a Nightmare Before Christmas fan, and I decided not. So I've been to Jollywood Nights 2 years in a row, and I never saw the show because I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need this. Until this year when I went to Disneyland, and now I am a convert because of
ooh,
everything that I experienced at Disneyland and how amazing the overlay and Oogie Boogie's Bash. So I will be participating in the Night Before Christmas. And much like Jen, who in the chat says she'll be singing, Jennifer says she's going to be singing. I will sing. You can come, Rob. I will sing.
all right. I'm gonna go with you. Hopefully, we'll sing together. We'll get the crowd going. But the thing is about that show, if you're a fan of, this is going to sound crazy, I know, but if you're a fan of like experimental black box theater, like if you've got one of those like art house theater companies in your town where they do kind of cool, edgy things, this is about as close as Disney is ever going to get doing a cool, edgy black box show. It is you'll understand what I mean by that when you see it, because it's so unlike anything else Disney has done stage show wise. It is it's very arty in the best way. I mean, it's very cool, and I love that Disney stepped outside of their box to do a black box show. So any fans of Nightmare Before Christmas over there on Patreon?
Yeah, I mean, some people have been mentioning that they will be singing,
All right.
including Craig.
We're going back again one more time, and I hope you're all there so that we can sing along together. Jessica, what is your must do for Jollywood Nights?
So you all know, because since episode 1, I've talked about this over and over again. Jollywood is my favorite event. And I just want you to take a minute and realize for what you're paying, you're also getting live entertainment. There are 3 areas to see music, and you're getting some of the best live performers I have ever seen. That if you were in a nightclub, you would be paying a lot of money to see them. Utilize the money you're spending on this ticket to see these really cool performers. If you're into jazz and kind of more, I'm going to say 1920s, but that might be 1920s, 1930s. But the Tip Top Club over by Tower of Terror has a really cool, swanky jazz performers. Amazing. They had a saxophone, a beautiful singer. You can get a glass of champagne or of non-alcoholic cider and sit and listen and slow dance. And it was just They had dancers out dancing. It was beautiful. Then they've moved, but the Latin band, last year, John and I probably listened to 2 full sets of the Latin band. You could get a margarita, you could get a soda, you could get a hot chocolate, whatever it is you want, and listen to that Latin band. They had dancers out with them as well. And the last one is for all you party people. They have a DJ set up where you can jam out with Sadness and Mike Wazowski. And I'm just telling you, the videos I've seen Sadness do her finger dancing to the hip hop music. I think there's like Taylor Swift, some Bruno Mars. They're singing the songs and she's just finger dancing her little heart out. And then Mike Wazowski with his crazy limbs dancing.
And don't forget Edna Mode.
Oh, Edna Mode. Edna Mode, that's true.
How often can you tear up the dance floor with Edna Mode?
But Edna Mode looked really normal compared to the other two. I'm just letting you know. Like, Edna Mode looks like a normal thing that should happen in the world, whereas the other two were like, was crazy.
She's more of a voguer, Edna Mode.
She's a vogue.
She's voguing.
I just think those 3 sections, to me and to John and I, that's what made Jollywood Nights like one of our favorites. Was just walking. We walked the park and we stopped and we listened to a set. You know, sometimes you can do that in Epcot where they have bands, but for a late night party to have that and to have the music and the whole park just seems like a really cool party. Also, as you're walking, I'm going to add in an extra, stop at every PhotoPass. This is another one. PhotoPass is included with your ticket price. So you don't have to have it added onto your ticket. You paid for it, and it's like $99 normally, right? I mean, it's expensive. You're getting every photo they take for free, not just characters, every photo they take. If you see somebody in a green shirt, you stop, you get a picture. I'm telling you, you must do. So it's great. Anyway, those are my must-dos.
So I thought you were going to talk about the ice skating show Glisten, because I know that you love that one.
I do love that one.
If you're a fan of it from last year, you're going to absolutely love it this year. There are huge improvements from the original. Better music, better choreography, more kind of wow moments, which I felt like the original, it had a couple of wow moments, but it was a little less, over the top than some of the ice skating spectaculars you might have seen on television. Well, they brought the wow this year. There's some definite wow moments. I think this is now one of the best shows at Jollywood, but it is not my pick for the best show, which is what I would consider to be an absolute must-do at Jollywood Nights. And before I share what that show is, I just want to give Disney major props for this year's event, because Jollywood got off to a little bit of a shaky start its first year, but last year it was really firing on all cylinders, and it was a really well-run event, and we were all like pleasantly surprised by how much the event matured in its second year and how great it was. This year, even better. They managed to top themselves yet again. And really now both of these parties are so well done. I think we're getting close to the time that Disney's going to overhaul at least parts of Very Merry. Some of those shows and Parade are a little old at this point. They've been doing them for a lot of years. So they do have a cycle where they normally just refresh those things. And I was a little anxious about it before because, you kind of grow to love these shows, and it's sad that they're going to go away. But they've done such a great job with Jollywood. And the other thing that they've done is they've been listening to the feedback that they've been getting from the fans and the folks in the parks. And you just see it every year, especially at Jollywood. It's so readily apparent that they heard what people were saying and they made everything even better. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the next iteration of Very Merry, because they've really knocked it out of the park with Jollywood. Now that I've given Disney their props, I'm going to share my must-do is Disney's Holidays in Hollywood with Kermit and Miss Piggy. The first year, it was good. It wasn't truly great. It didn't have nearly enough Kermit and Miss Piggy in it. And I think that was the feedback that they got from so many people, was like, well, we thought this was going to be like a Muppets theme show and they were hardly in it. Well, last year they took that feedback, they completely redid the show. It's got like 110% more Muppets, and it is now my favorite show at the event. I think it also just kind of perfectly captures the vibe of Jollywood. It's like a variety show from the golden era of Hollywood with like a swinging big band sound and amazing singers and dancers. You've got your favorite Disney characters like Mickey and Minnie and Tiana up there. It is an absolute delight. And the cherry on top is Miss Piggy. I clearly love the divas because at Very Merry, it's the diva of dairy, and at Jollywood, it's the ultimate diva herself, Miss Piggy. I love that show so much. If you're one of those people who doesn't love that the other parties at Magic Kingdom have gotten so crowded, if you're like, oh, I miss the days when Very Merry and Not So Scary were not so crowded, and now they are scary because they're very crowded. Jollywood is a breath of fresh air. It is, and that park is not that big, right? So it's not like Magic Kingdom where you can kind of mask how many people are there because they're so spread out. It's not that big of a park, and it never feels overly busy anywhere. I mean, I will say this year the lines for meeting Chewbacca in his Life Day outfit, that line was massive. That's where everybody was.
When did it open?
So I asked the cast member because I wasn't over there, and she said that it started right when the party started, but that people were already lined up. So you might want to get your wristband, do a couple of things and then make that your camp out spot, unless you don't mind burning up a lot of party time.
No, that's what I'm rope dropping. I'm going directly to Chewbacca.
I'm going to tell you, Jessica, like the line for Chewbacca was longer than the time that you have to wait for Rise of the Resistance. Like
that's okay.
Rise
well,
was
at
only
at the event.
At the event, like it was 15 minutes, like just to get into the ride. Chewbacca, on the other hand, was an hour and something.
When John listens to this podcast, he will know the first thing we're doing is getting our wristbands and we're standing in line and we're going to meet Chewbacca.
And I may say something to that effect in the video that will be coming out this weekend.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Well, as it turns out, our question of the week is also about must-dos. Jessica, what is our question of the week?
So this week's question is from Matthew Rennig 9757 on YouTube.
I think it's a Matthew Ringu.
Matthew Ringu 9757 on YouTube, who says, we are going to hit all 4 parks in 3 days. The teens want to do all the thrill rides, me included, but what shows should we not miss while there? Hopefully ones that will appeal to the whole family. I'm currently thinking Festival of the Lion King, Happily Ever After, and Fantasmic for sure. Anything else we shouldn't miss? So I think this is it's a really interesting question about, what shows shouldn't we miss? I'm going to do a little off the beaten path show here based on the fact that it's teens and adults. And I'm going to say, if you're in Epcot, Command Performance, it's a band that plays British rock music in the back near the UK Pavilion. Particularly if you have teens, I've seen a lot of teens go back there and sit down and have a good break and really like the music and sing along. And it's a really fun thing for them. Assuming that, that's the kind of thing you're interested in. That one is a really cool kind of off the beaten path one that I think people forget about. And my other off the beaten path one is Winged Encounter in front of the Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom. That's another one that's 15 minutes where the birds, kind of all of the macaws and the parrots kind of fly over you. And I'm doing all this with my hands, realizing it's an audio podcast. But they fly over you, and then you get to talk to the keepers. It's a really cool thing that I see a lot of kids that age, teenagers that age, really appreciate. I think that, and I could be biased, I think sometimes teenagers do not want to sit into the Finding Nemo show. That's not something they're there for. So those kinds of high octane, rock band, lovely birds flying at you, those are kind of things that I would recommend and that we love and that my kids when they were teens loved. So those are two that I would add. What would you guys add in, Rob?
Well, I would add two that I just think are a delight for any age, and even if you don't love Frozen, and I say this every time I talk about this in videos, and let me tell you, I get so many people that I meet in the parks who are like, I watched your video. If I hadn't seen that video, there's no way I would have gone to see a Frozen sing along celebration because that just sounded like a nightmare. And I loved it. And it was so fun. And I'm so glad you recommended it. So, Frozen Sing Along Celebration at Hollywood Studios is a surprising crowd pleaser. Even the folks in your group who don't love Frozen are probably going to dig it. And just to give you an idea of what that show is, it's almost like an improv show with a couple of really funny performers who are the royal historians of Arendelle. And they do a ridiculously bad job of relaying the story of Frozen to the audience, and they take breaks for everyone to sing. And it is that one people really do sing, unlike at Nightmare Before Christmas sing along. At Frozen sing along celebration, there's a lot of singing, but you don't have to sing because everyone around you is singing, and no one will notice that you're not singing along with them if you don't want to. And then the other one that I'm going to recommend, and this is I'm going to kind of do like Jessica did and go off the beaten path a little bit. This is actually not even at a park, but it's one thing that a lot of people don't think about, and it's going to Fort Wilderness and checking out either the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review, which is a dinner theater show, so it is extra. You have to pay for, but it's really not that bad of a deal when you consider that you're going to get a full meal that includes, appetizers, sides, entrees, desserts, and it's kind of all you care to eat. Also for the adults, beer and wine and sangria is included for free. Well, not for free, included with the price of your ticket. Let's say that.
It's an open
But
bar.
yeah, it is. It is. That show is so much fun, and it's very much like I'm gonna show my age here, but if you ever seen like the show Hee Haw from like back in the day, like it's kind of like a cross between like an old timey like country comedy show and cross that with like something you would have performed at camp in summer camp when you were a kid. I don't know. It's got this kind of zany vibe to it that is just really fun and funny. And the singers are amazing. There's great singing, there's great dancing, there's great food. I love that show. And then if you don't want to invest in a dinner theater show for free, you can go to the Chippendale Campfire Sing Along. I'm doing a lot of sing-alongs here. Apparently, I'm really into the sing-alongs, but the Chippendale Campfire Sing-Along is adorable. And I think that's another one that the whole family enjoys. There's lots of jokes in that show that the adults are going to enjoy, and the kids are going to get to hokey pokey with Chippendale. And I mean, how can you beat that for a vacation memory? So, those would be my must do's that maybe you weren't already planning to do. Eric, what are your must do shows?
So for me, there are both in Disney Hollywood Studios. And the first one, well, since they have teenagers, I will suggest to do the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, just because there's explosions, there's action, and it helps you to understand what happens on a stage when they are filming a movie. So that's something super cool. And of course, the other one is going to be the Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After.
Oh
Oh, I forgot
yeah.
about
I
that
Yeah.
one.
totally forgot about that. That's a great one.
Great
Yes.
pick.
It's awesome, like the fact that you can see fans of Cruella, fans for Captain Hook, and also for Maleficent. Uh, the way that they present it is very unique, and it's a really good show.
Yeah. So the idea is you got to vote for the villain who's been the most unfairly maligned in their story. And it's super fun. It's a fun twist on those stories. I agree. I can't believe I didn't think about that one. I'm so glad you brought that up, Eric. Were there any surprises in the chat? Anyone bring anything up that we didn't talk about in the Patreon chat over there?
So Diana actually mentioned that she will include the Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh, yeah. Which has been recently redone. And now it includes a lot of your favorite Disney classics, but they've been turned into country and Western tunes, which is really fun.
My mom liked that way more than I thought she would. Like, I was not expecting her to dig the Country Bear Jamboree, but the new one she really liked.
Unfortunately, we don't have time for more questions because Eric and I have to finish editing that Jollywood video, but we will have a regular episode very soon with a full Q&A section. So if you have a question you'd like us to answer, let us know in the comments on one of our Ear Scouts videos over on YouTube, or join us live at patreon.com/earscouts. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can hear the answer if we're able to include it. Before we go, however, we have one last segment that we like to call Happy Thoughts. It's a little fun surprise at the end of the night. Eric, what is your happy thought this week?
So my happy thought is that finally it's getting dark early in the day, and finally as well, Animal Kingdom is closing a little bit later, so you can see Pandora at night, which is amazing. But also you can enjoy the projections in the Tree of Life. So I'm very happy that that's happening again. Oh, and that this is very rare, but now Orlando is cold, which is fantastic.
We've got like 2 days of cold, and we're going to take every minute of it we can get. Yeah, and also the Christmas decorations are all up, and so those light up at night very beautifully as well. So Animal Kingdom is just gorgeous at night. And also over in Asia, they've got the lights of Diwali up now as well. So I second that happy thought. That's a good one. Jessica, what is your happy thought this week?
Well, my happy thoughts stay in an Animal Kingdom because that's the best place to be. As we all know, it's two of our favorite park. They have updated the animation experience to have, are you ready for this? Zootopia characters. So I am so excited. I love the animation experience. I think it's underrated. I think sitting there with an actual animator and having them walk you through drawing, I think it's super fun. I have our Minnie Mouses framed on the wall. John and I got it, and then we actually got the artist to sign hers. So we have a triptych of those three on the wall, actually in my office. You can't see it. But I'm so excited to be able to draw Zootopia characters, and I'm going to camp out and see when we're drawing Judy, and I will be there no matter what to draw Judy. I'm very excited about that. So when I saw that get released today, I kind of shrieked. So I'm very excited about that. So that's my happy thought. Can't wait to get there to do that.
So I'm pretty sure I've drawn Judy before. I think they've done Judy before.
Okay, well, I haven't.
Yes, I'm excited that you're going to get to do it. I'm excited about getting to draw Flash because they got to do
Oh, yeah.
Flash, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to be a fun one. But yes, Judy as well. Very fun. So my happy thought this week is how much fun we had at the holiday parties this year. We always try to go to the parties twice. So we'll go once to make a video, and then we'll go again just to kind of enjoy the party and experience it like a normal guest. Because you almost have to do that so that you can have the experience and you can kind of have the things to talk about to help people have a great time at the party. Because if you don't ever have a great time at the party like a normal guest would, then it's hard for you to show people how to have a great time at the party. So what was great this year though was we had an amazing time, even though we were scrambling around trying to make a video at the same time. And that's just because these parties have gotten so good. They're so well run. So if you're on the fence about going to the parties, I would say this year is the year. Everything is firing on all cylinders and it's a really great time in the parks. Sadly, that is all the holly jolly jabbering we have time for this week. But we will be back in the sleigh next week with a brand new episode. Until then, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.